Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Sam, grade 5 teacher and creator of Graphic Universe. Today, in this video, we will be adding unlike fractions. We have 8 problems today. We will work through them. We will cross multiply. We will also find the lowest common denominator. So, let's get started. First, we need to find equivalent fractions that have the same denominator. For this, we will cross multiply. We want to first take the denominator of this one and multiply by 1 and then multiply it by the denominator. So 1 times 3 over 2 times 3. We get 3 for the numerator and 6 for the denominator. So when we cross multiply, our first fraction is 3/6. Now we need to find our second fraction to add it that has the same denominator. So we will cross multiply with this one. We will take this denominator and multiply it by the numerator, and then we will multiply it by the denominator. So we have 2 times 2 and 2 times 3. Therefore, we have the numerator of 4 and the denominator of 6. So our second fraction will be 4/6. Now we have 2 fractions with like denominators. And simply, we just add the numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7, and the denominator stays the same, 6. And there we have our addition of unlike fractions. For our next problem, we have 8/12 plus 8/11. We have to cross multiply. So first, we will multiply the numerator and denominator by this denominator. We have 11 times 8 and 11 times 12. So we will put 8 times 11 in the numerator and 12 times 11 in the denominator. When we multiply, we get 88 over 132. So our first fraction is 88 132nds plus, we will cross multiply by this fraction, and we get 8 times 12 over 11 times 12. When we multiply, we get 96 for the numerator, and 11 times 12 is 132. So for our second fraction, we get 96 132nds. When we add these two together, we get 184 for the numerator, and the denominator stays the same, 132 for the denominator. So when we add 8/12 plus 8/11 and we convert them to equivalent fractions, we get 184 132nds. Next problem. We have 2/7 plus 6/10. We know we cannot add these because they do not have like denominators. So we will cross multiply. First we will find with the multiplication of 10 to the numerator and to the denominator. So we will have 2 times 10 in the numerator and 7 times 10 in the denominator. When we multiply, we get 20 for the numerator and 70 for the denominator. So our first fraction will be 20/70ths. Now we have to add it to the equivalent fraction when we cross multiply with the 7. 7 times 6 in the numerator and 7 times 10 in the denominator. So here we have 6 times 7 and 10 times 7. When we multiply, we get 42/70. So our second fraction that we will add is 42/70ths. Now that we have two like denominators, we can add the two fractions together. 20 plus 42 is 62, and the denominator stays the same, 62/70ths. Next problem, we have 1/6 plus 6/11ths. So we have to cross multiply. They are unlike denominators. We'll first start with the 11. We'll multiply the numerator and the denominator by 11. So we get 1 times 11 and 6 times 11. When we multiply, we get 11/66. So our first fraction is 11/66. Now we have to add that to our next equivalent fraction, where we will multiply by the 6. We will cross multiply, meaning multiply the numerator and the denominator by 6. 6 times 6 over 11 times 6. When we multiply, we get 36 in the numerator and 66 in the denominator. So our second fraction that we can add is 36/66. Now we have like denominators, so we simply add the numerators. 11 plus 36 is 47, and the denominator stays the same, 66 for the denominator. So our answer is 47/66. Next problem, we have 5/9 plus 1/2. Again, we will cross multiply. We'll start with the denominator 2, and we'll multiply 2 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. So we get 5 times 2 over 9 times 2. When we multiply, we get 10/18ths. So our first equivalent fraction will be 10/18ths. Next, we will find an equivalent fraction for 1/2. So we'll multiply by the 9. We'll multiply the numerator by 9 and the denominator by 9. So we have 1 times 9 over 2 times 9. And we get 9/18ths. So our second equivalent fraction is 9/18ths. So we will add 10/18ths plus 9/18ths. The numerators are the only thing you add, so you get 19 in the numerator, and the denominator stays the same. 19/18ths is your answer when we add those two unlike fractions. Next problem, 9/12ths plus 2/12ths. Wait a minute. They already have like denominators. So I do not have to cross multiply. I do not have to cross multiply. I can just add the numerators. 9 plus 2 is 11. And the denominator stays the same, 12. So when I add 9/12ths plus 2/12ths, I get 11/12ths. Next problem. 2/7 plus 1/4. So we will cross multiply. We'll start with the denominator 4. 4 times the numerator, 4 times the denominator. When we multiply, we have 2 times 4 and 7 times 4. When we multiply the numerator, we get 8. When we multiply the denominator, we get 28. So our first equivalent fraction will be 8/28. And we will add that to the next equivalent fraction. To find it, we will multiply both by 7. The numerator by 7 and the denominator by 7. When we do that, we get 1 times 7 and 4 times 7. After we multiply, we get 7/28. So our second equivalent fraction is 7/28. Now, all we have to do is simply add the numerators. 8 plus 7 is 15, and the denominator stays the same, 28. So our answer when adding two unlike fractions, 2 sevenths plus 1/4 is 15/28. Final problem. We have 1/4 plus 6/8. Now, we could cross multiply. If we do that, we would get 1 times 8 and 4 times 8. And we would get 8/32. Now, I noticed something, that 8 is a multiple of 4. So you would get a number higher than you need. So we don't even have to cross multiply. We could just find the lowest common denominator, or the number, the smallest number that both 4 and 8 share. Our multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and our multiples of 8 are 8, 16. So look, they both share an 8, and they both share a 16. If you add them to multiply them together, they both share 32 also. But 8 is the lowest. So we could just keep 6/8. And we know we want our denominator to be 8. So we have to figure, how did we get from 4 to 8? We multiply by 2. And if we multiply the denominator by 2, we have to multiply the numerator by 2. So we would get 2/8 plus 6/8. 2 plus 6 is 8. And the denominator stays the same. So we have 8/8. If the numerator and the denominator are the same number, that is equal to 1. So the answer of 1/4 plus 6/8 is 1. Well, I hope that video was useful for you. Please like and share and subscribe to my channel. On YouTube, you can find me at graphic.universe, Instagram, graphic.universe, and Facebook at graphic.universe. Thank you. Please watch again.